Hello, welcome. Welcome to TorontoJS Presents International Women's Day 2022 with Women Techmaker Ambassadors. This is day 2 of this International Women's Day celebration, and I would like you to join us at the TorontoJS community. And if this is the first time you're here, welcome. TorontoJS is a Toronto-based technology community that focus not only in JavaScript, but also in any sort of technologies that you can imagine. And we are a bunch of tech enthusiasts that is in the community, and we love seeing each other's growth as well as helping each other through their career in any sort of way. So join us if you haven't. Visit TorontoJS.com. Today it is a special collaboration with Women Techmaker Ambassadors and Women Techmaker from an initiative from Google. We are celebrating International Women's Day with the theme of progress, not perfection, and break the bias. And this is huge for us. This is the first time that we're doing this, and we are going to talk on some pretty cool topic today. And just to give you an overview of what's going to happen today is that in the next 90 minutes or 88 minutes. I can't do math. We are going to have a really healthy discussion about the challenge that we encounter as women in tech, as underrepresented groups in tech, and at the same time, getting live questions from you in the audience. And feel free to use whatever language you choose. We do have a Latin American presence in the chat, volunteers in the chat to translate your messages if possible. This session is going to be conducted in English, and if you need closed caption, they are available on the YouTube platform. So I do want to highlight that TorontoJS is a community that respects each other's space. Please see the code of conduct to make sure you are familiar with it. If you see something or if you are experiencing something that you're not comfortable with, feel free to use the code of conduct to report any incidents. And we only encourage respectful attitudes in our community. So please do also respect that in the chat today. Okay, so last but not least, part of this program, we also want to make sure we are having fun, engaging with conversation. During today's session, we are going to have random prize draws. Random prize drop, and I'm saying random prize draw is going to be based on the message that you put in chat, and I will randomly select a person, and you will see how it goes. If you weren't here yesterday, and this is the first day that you're joining, you will see how we do our random prize draws today. And again, if you missed our live talk yesterday, please do get a chance to watch it from our playlist in the TorontoJS YouTube channel. All right, and part of that prize draw, you do have a selection of an education program donation of your choice, up to $50 US, and an online course of your choice of under the Udemy course platform, again under US dollar, $50 US dollar. And then for those who would prefer Latin America friendly platform, it would be Domesticite as the platform. And Google is also providing Google Nest Mini as part of the price as well. So you have your choice of these educational devices and programs as part of an effort that from TorontoJS that we want to encourage y'all to keep learning. and empower yourself, upskill yourself. So yeah. I am going to introduce one of the Women Tech Maker Ambassador from the community, and she is the Argentinian lead. Welcome, Giuliana.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to day 2. I'm very happy to be here again and to see new faces and, well, new faces in the comments and all faces from yesterday. Thank you, TorontoJS, for welcoming us again today, and Women Techmakers. Hello. I'm sorry.
We might. Oh, she's back. Do we have her? Yes, we do.
Yes. If this happens again, please make sure to let me know. Am I on?
Yes, you are. I do want to emphasize that Giuliana is joining us from Argentina, so there may be network disruption in her area. So
yes, just let me know if there is. Now
you're good.
Okay, good.
All right. So yeah, Giuliana, could you introduce yourself in terms of like what do you do professionally? What are you doing for your community?
Okay, so for those who were here yesterday, you know that I began my career as an engineer. I am a data scientist. I am also a human experience designer, and I now work in Turing. I don't know if you know about Turing. Right now is a unicorn organization, and that is designed for a remote world for developers around the world. And our mission is to help every remote technology company build boundaryless teams around the world that democratizes software developers' opportunities worldwide to work for companies everywhere, especially within Silicon Valley and in first companies. And I'm a developer program community manager here in Argentina. And also, I am a GDG cloud organizer here in Argentina, in Buenos Aires. And I'm a woman tech maker in Argentina. And what else do you want to know about me?
Everything else that you would like to share.
I don't know if anybody has any questions. I would love to work within intersectionality. I think that for me, even though I work in technology, my biggest mission is to work in technology within the user. I think that if we all know what technology and society need, we can work for better. I think that as tech people, we are like Jedis in our world. So I think of as myself as a tech Jedi, and we need to create better technologies for a better world. So, and like I said yesterday, and I repeat this today, when we are hot today in our remote world, where we get to also have a life and professional equilibrium where we can do both and try to work towards a better society doing both as well. So I think it's a great opportunity in our time as in our industry for us to do this, but also to work towards a better future for the ones that are coming after us. I think that there are people that paved the road for us but we need to continue that and make it better for the ones that are coming after us.
Yes, 100%. That's and what Giuliana focused on is also what I would like to see more in the space. I'm Sherry. I am by trade a software engineer in the industry. I've worked my way around in the space for over a decade. I'm currently a team lead for my team for a distributed company called Adaptivus. Um, in the community, I am one of the organizers at TorontoJS. I'm also a Woman Techmaker Ambassador. And what I really want to see in the space is to be able to really push for that intersectionality in the space as well, and see more effort that is in the actual tech companies to really push the boundary and move the dials, because there is just not quite yet enough underrepresented groups in the space. So in terms of celebrating our accomplishment so far, we are going to take a look at what we have done so far in terms of identifying the invisible ceiling in the space. So for today's topic, we want to talk about the invisible ceiling that is not only for women. Yes, we do understand that for women there is that glass ceiling, and we are present time we are going to challenge that, and every day we are in the workforce having difficulty to really push that boundary, right? So and that doesn't limit at just the tech industry, is for all industry and for all women that is in the workforce. That being said, as a Taiwanese, Canadian, and a woman in tech, an immigrant to the country, I struggle with my own double ceiling of having a glass ceiling in the workforce as a woman, also having a bamboo ceiling as from my parents and how I am upbringing it from my culture, to really push my own boundary to be in the space and to understand why it is that I can no longer grow. Took me a long time to really put face to face and be like come back that challenge for myself in terms of like defining what it is that I want to do, but at the same time also letting people know like we should change the perception and we should break the bias and let people know like it is time for us to see a diversity seen in like diverse seen in the leadership. And what we always say is um see more like see a diverse table, but also creating your own seats, or even sometimes creating your own table. Gather a brand new team that is going to change the scene. And that's where I am coming from in terms of like my own experience as person who is seeing these ceilings, who are not only challenging for myself as a woman, but also challenge for myself with my own cultural background. Giuliana, how has that been for you, being a woman in tech, and having those ceilings?
I think that it's really important to understand that there are ceilings within, there are biases within the biases. So the ceiling, it's not only, when we talk about breaking the glass ceiling, we also need to understand that breaking the glass ceiling comprehends a bunch of factors inside of that ceiling that we have in the industry. And it's not only in the industry, but it's in a lot of industries. Like Sherry said, she has her own background that she had to struggle with. But once we understand that, for example, we have a lot of discriminations by being women or by being in a community, inside also those like there is discriminations with the genders, there are discriminations with it within also within maybe cultural diverse groups, because it's not the same being a woman, and please be open to what I'm going to say, but it's not the same being a white woman in tech than being I'm being a woman of race with with diverse intersectionalities, things that come within that, going into tech. So if we start thinking about these things, the glass ceiling, it's that glass starts becoming thicker and thicker and thicker. So we need to start thinking about these things when we think about that glass ceiling. And it's not only for, when we say that it's not only for women, it's because it's not only it is much greater than that. It has a bunch of biases that we encounter within that glass ceiling.
Mm-hmm. I like to bring focus on what did I say again? The user as a question. You know, like they mentioned that what can we do about persists with high skepticisms for the tech industry? For instance, some people I know are put off by chance of experiencing discrimination for being a woman or LGBTQ community, and that is like one thing that we want to really highlight on. Like I think it's important that yes, underrepresented groups do exist in the space, and we need to be very intentional in terms of supporting them, as I mentioned yesterday as well. Like how do we do about, you know, what is one thing that we could do to like combat that situation? In my own experience is creating a safe space for everyone, but at the same time also encourage them to have that confidence, to empower them to have the resources to stand up for themselves and be able to have a voice of their own. And but I think, like, first of all, any company, any space, any group, we need to make sure we curate a safe space for everyone, for them to feel comfortable to step forward. And that is something that we want to highlight.
I agree. If you don't feel that you're, and this is again something that we mentioned yesterday, if you don't feel that you're in a place where you feel safe, that you are where you belong, like, that's a red flag. It's a big red flag. If you're feeling that you're not being heard, you cannot be yourself, that's not your that there is actually not a safe space for you, you should start asking yourself, is this where I want to be? Because at the end of the day, I think that if you want to move and progress, we need to also ask ourselves where we are, where we stand, and where we want to go. Because it starts with also looking inside of us and saying, hey, I don't feel comfortable here. This is not where I want to be. This is not me. And believe me, there are places where you're gonna be, oh, hey, you're not welcome here. And then there are going to be places where you're gonna be not only welcome, but heard. And that's where you want to be. Just start, first of all, start looking at yourself and your actions and how you feel, and then how you're perceived in the space you're working in. And then from that moment on, move within that space. Because if you don't feel safe in that space, then that's how you're gonna be treated.
Exactly that. We also have a question from the chat from Gustavo. How to reproduce the toxic work environment at home office since we have less contact with other work partners? This is a great question. Yes, work from home has becoming the culture of tech industry now, and you will see more work from home and hybrid environment as well. How do we reduce the toxic work environment? A great way to do it is that even though this remote environment might not seem as harmful in terms of being in person and being like verbally attacked by someone in person, still, if you are experiencing that sort of discrimination, it is still important to call it out, even though it is remote. Even through a chat, through a Zoom social setting, it is still really important to call those things out. For those who are more comfortable with sharing your voices, I encourage you to do so for others. When you see something that you don't agree with, definitely call it out right away, because the toxic culture is being created by not speaking up. The toxic culture is being and also grown for those who are bystanding. So it's really important for those who are comfortable in the situation to speak out for other people and and be the voice of like inequality. So, and it doesn't matter if it is in person or remote, we do have to call it out.
Yeah, the toxic culture is just as bad as a standard by. Is that how you say it? As a bystander, as the one that does it. If you do not speak up, you're as guilty as the one that does it. So I think that is really important, like Sherry said. Do something about it. If you see something that is just that you think that it's not fair, do something about it. I want to speak about something that TorontoJS said, is that I think that recognizing and checking in with those who may be affected, overlooked, dismissed is a safe and private way is a great step. Yes, it is. But sometimes they might not speak up, which is also the problem. You might not recognize those who might be affected. So, in my opinion, more than checking in and trying to talk to those who might be affected and overlooked, is that might not be the only solution. It's one solution, which is an amazing solution, but also speak up, even though there are people affected, overlooked, and dismissed. Because there are people that are affected, overlooked, and dismissed. So find that safe space for them to then talk to you, and not wait for them to check, for them to talk to you. because I think that people sometimes are afraid to speak up, and like yes, like people get defensive when you try to help them out and see and checking in, and so just make a safe space, talk in general, and then they might just talk to you.
Okay. Yeah, this is a great part that great topic that we want to focus on is like, how do we make sure like that toxic culture isn't being grown bigger, and how do we stop? That's amazing, and we will keep that going. But before we keep going, let's do a quick random prize draw. Like I mentioned earlier, that our prize draw is going to be how I scroll in the chat, and then Giuliana is going to tell me to stop. And so, Giuliana, tell me when.
When?
Oh, I have my mouse is stopping on Gustavo Moreña. I'm sorry. I have it on Gustavo.
Moreira.
Moreira.
Gustavo Moreira.
Yes.
It's you.
Does this person still here?
Yes.
Sweet. Hello. You are the prize winner. Congratulations. Please contact organizers at TorontoJS.com, and you will be able to I believe you have to take a screenshot of identify who you are and your account and your meetup account. So make sure you take all the screenshot you need. Yes, email organizers at TorontoJS.com, and you have a choice to donate your prize or online course of your choice, as well as a Google Nest Mini.
Oh, Gustavo is so happy.
Congrats. I am gonna do another one because I can. So I'm gonna, tell me when. She's taking a big sip.
Now.
I have it on Melissa Quinones.
Melissa Quiñones, raise your hand. Can I get a whoop whoop?
Is Melissa still here?
Melissa.
If not, I will keep going. Melissa going once.
Melissa, are you here?
Melissa going twice. Melissa is not here. All right, well, I'm going again. So tell me when.
Now.
Jose, oh gosh, this is really long. Let me paste this. Jose
Guilherme Martins Costa Lima?
Yes, sí.
Sí. I don't know how to pronounce your name either, but congratulations.
Yes, Jose is here. Please connect with organizers at TorontoJS, TorontoJS.com. We will be able to get in contact with you after that. And again, make sure you can provide a proof of your account, your YouTube account and your Meetup account, so that we can identify you as you, not just random Jose's. Yes.
And also, where are you guys from?
Yeah, where is Jose? Where are you from?
Brazil.
Nice.
Oh, Joseph. His name is Joseph.
Oh, Joseph.
Oh.
And then the previous winner, who I already lost their name. Where are you from?
Brazil.
Also Brazil? Nice. Wow.
Yes, Brazil
Representing
representing.
Brazil in the chat. Nice, nice. All right.
Yes, Gustavo. Well, Latam is representing.
Yes. Thank you so much for being here. Again, we're so happy to have you. Keep your questions and comments in the chat. Keep that going. Again, we do random prize drop throughout the 90 minutes in this session. So let's get back on track again. We were just talking about how do we make sure that we don't encourage the toxic environment, and how to and the ways to not encourage that kind of culture, and at the same time also call it out. I want to focus on a little bit on the fact that the invisible ceiling is not only for women and not only for a culture perspective, but also for men. I have heard story that men are also in a challenge, in a space where they are often finding themselves not knowing how to either grow or breaking their current status in terms of like expectation of the society for them. What is your perspective on that, Giuliana?
I don't think, and I mean, I would love to hear some comments, read some comments about this, but I believe that there are a lot of misunderstandings about the masculinities, also that the glass ceiling is only for women in terms of the how do I perceive myself, and where do I want to get, and where do I want to where and how do I want to get where I want to be, and the also the imposter syndrome, and this is a good one. The imposter syndrome is not only that doesn't happen only to women, and I've seen it a lot. Like, I mean, men go through this a lot, and especially in the tech industry, where we all see that there are so many factors to get you where you want to be, and like you start your career. We talked about this yesterday actually as well. And when you start your career, there are so many. Okay, how do I get to this position if I have to go through all of these steps? And it's really difficult. So men also have these boundaries that have to go through. So it's not only women that now have this imposter syndrome that we learn to live with. Men do have this as well, but they don't talk about it as openly as we do. And maybe it's time for also a safe space for them to do so.
Yeah, I do see more of that coming out, and I feel like more men are speaking out of about their imposter syndrome than ever, and it's because we are creating a culture that is more receptive of that, and at the same time, like we have the hustle culture. We also have the like fake it till you make it sort of like environment in the industry. That's why imposter syndrome is like a huge problem in the industry. because people are either upselling what they can deliver or trying to imagine that they could make a perfect pitch to get VC funding. And that is where imposter syndrome comes down. That's really hard in the industry, is like, we talk about the perfect solution, but how do we execute them? Do we have the means to execute them?
Yes.
And those are often like the obstacles that not only women but men and everyone suffers
goes.
from. Yeah.
And I don't know if you, I mean, we're both I am remarkable facilitators, but I don't know if you, I mean, men normally like just apply to jobs not having all of the requirements, which women like, no, if I don't have all of the requirements, I will not apply to the job. But now, what happens to those men that like, yes, I have all the requirements, and then what if I get the job and then I can do the job, you know?
Mhm.
So that really, yes, the imposter syndrome in the early days of college, it doesn't happen only in the earliest days of college, but it happens really in the early days of the career, in the early stages of the careers. And it happens to all of us, I think, where we say, when we are juniors, and oh no, I might not get the job that I want because I'm a junior, but oh, I have to go through this, and then, but I know that I can do it. So why am I still in this position if I know that I have the skill sets? But yes, I have to do the 3 year experience because I'm still a junior, but I have the skills. So it's still that's, I think that we all go through that process. And yes, the imposter syndrome happens even to seniors, because today's world goes by so fast and everything is changing so fast that we, even if we get to that senior position that we want, is like, how did I get here? And we're learning everything, and everything is changing, and there is, every day there's something new that we are learning again, and we're changing everything again. And when we get to where we want it to be, is like, okay, now what? So I think that the glass ceiling is still like, we want to break that glass ceiling, but sometimes it's like, where does it end, or where is that, the top of that glass ceiling, and how do I break it? Because there are so many things that are pushing us back, that sometimes it is hard for us to see that we did break the glass ceiling and we didn't even realize it.
Yeah, that's definitely a important part to know. Like, you know, how do we challenge the perception? How do we change the culture that we see as norm, and how do we make sure like that doesn't, like the same thing doesn't happen over and over again, and we really push the boundary for that. Um, and I know like some of y'all may wonder, you know, have being very skeptical about diversity hire. This was one of the questions that's being mentioned yesterday. I want to let you know that diversity hire happens for some company because of the state registration, requirement that a company needs to be at a certain ratio in terms of race and gender equality. So some company will make sure they fill those status quo. But for you, as someone who may be like me, who is a BIPOC person in the tech industry, you may wonder, am I a diversity hire? I urge you not to think that way. And if anyone ever challenge you that and call you out as a diversity hire, let them know that you deserve a seat and you went through the regular process to be where you are today, in terms of going through all the interviews that's required of you, as well as giving them, like, passing all the assessment that is required of you. So that being said, yes, unfortunately, there is a diversity space, like diversity hire space, in terms of filling up the status quo for a company's profile. But if at any point you feel like you are the diversity hire, or someone is telling you that you're the diversity hire, let them know that you you won the position fair and square. It's not like they just say, "Oh, Sherry, you are a great candidate. Can you start tomorrow?" If that is the case, I'm actually fine with that. I'm actually fine with that, because you know what? In the tech industry, you have to interview at least 5 layers to get to the final offer. So if they can see me and be like, "Sherry, you're perfect for the role. I want you," and I'll be like, "Okay, here's the offer. Sign it tomorrow." That's great. But again, I want you to know that you deserve the spot. Don't ever let anyone tell you otherwise. Um, and that is something important to know.
I agree. I completely agree. I don't think that, like right now, there is the diversity hire, um, but I don't think that that shouldn't stop you from getting you where you want to be. So if you are just where you, if they ask you to be on that position, know that you're there because you have to be there. Uh, Most importantly, just make sure that the company that is you're in or you're getting into aligns with your purposes. That I think that that is more important that if you're the diversity hire. Um, Make sure that the company, it is diverse, it is open to safe space, and they're just not doing the diversity hire for the numbers or the metrics. They're just doing it because they believe in it, and that they believe not only in diversity but they believe in the skills. So think about what you're bringing to the table, but what they're doing also for you. And I think that those are the principles of how we can go through the new recruitment processes for the future.
Yeah.
Not it's not not the diversity hire. It's great that they're doing that, but it has to go through the purpose of the company and the purpose of your life.
Yes. As Raja in the chat mentioned, that the performance during interviews. I mean, sorry, interviews are generally broken in the tech space, and we are trying to improve it. We are trying to improve the interview process within the industry. It is really hard to check all the boxes during interviews. Also really hard, also kind of weird, but also very easy to check all the boxes. You can literally go into like a focused time and just train yourself to be in interviewing loops and understanding the tips and tricks to get in to answer the questions, and just be really good at interviewing. And it is a full-time job when you're in that interviewing cycle, because it requires a lot of your attention. It also requires a lot of your focus on like perfecting the technique. For those of you who are currently in the interviewing cycle, I encourage you. You will only get better, and that process, yes, it's broken, but we are trying to create a better space for people who are trying to get into the industry. So focus on what you can, as Giuliana mentioned, focus on what you can bring into the table and share all of that with all of your skill set during the interview as much as you can. Highlight those skill sets as much as you can. In terms of,
I'm sorry, Sherry, but I want to also highlight what Rajat, I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name right, I'm sorry, but I think that it's very important to believe that you can do it, and believe that if you've done it great in the past, or that you know that you can do it better in the future, and that you can continuously do better and learn, like if you're starting your career, and that you can continue learning and that you can continue growing. That's just it. Just focus on that. And the imposter syndrome, maybe it'll come up every once in a while, because it will, but just focus on the idea that there is no point that you cannot do it if you know that you have the skills. If you know that you have the skills, just focus on that, and just don't be afraid of going for it. Just go for it, and know that you have something to bring to the table. And if they cannot see it, and you'll find a better place that where they will see it. And like he said as well, they don't think about the interviews, because we know that there is a process of, like, the selection process right now is broken. But think about what once you're working, bring your ideas. Your ideas are valuable.
mm-hmm. And if you are in a leadership role, management role, hiring management role, that you have a say in terms of improving the recruitment process, this is where we would like you to put more attention and more effort into. When you are someone who are in that space, in that level of decision making position, it is really important to make sure the recruitment process is improved in the industry. Um, Yesterday we talked about make sure having a strategy of making non-biased resumes, getting rid of the names, getting rid of their anything that alludes to their gender and their race, getting rid of anything that alludes to their educational background. So those are some of the things that your recruitment team can start doing before you make an unconscious bias on someone's portfolio. That being said, current recruitment process is definitely making a stride. Companies are having more partnership with organizations that promote people of color, as well as on anyone that comes from an untraditional educational background, self-trained, boot camp. There are platforms and organizations out there that is pushing the talent forward. I would like to shout out to Diversify Tech, that's led by Benny Kunche. She is a great diversity drive in terms of changing the scene in tech. And what her newsletter has shown is not only sharing opportunity for everyone in the space, for talent that is ready to be hired, but also sharing professional tips to businesses to tell them to share some light on, like, what are some of the strategy you could have in terms of having proper diversity hire, or proper solutions to increase diversity in your team. And those are like very crucial thing in terms of having a tech company and making sure like your team has perspective from different angle.
I also want, just because you said that, I want to also give a shout out to where I'm working. I work, like I said before, in Turing. One of the aspects that I love about working at Turing is that, just so that you can have an idea, our leadership team has 31 leaders from a different cultural background. That doesn't include only races. It includes LGBTQ communities, races, from, I mean, the whole cultural diverse scenario, which just, that lets me know that gender, like everything. So that lets me know that they had a space for me in that company. Besides that, I knew that they had a space for everybody else in the dev community around the world. Not only for me, but for everybody, because the leadership showed me that. So once you have that, you if you want to step up and go through a and show where, okay, we do this, but then don't do it inside of your workspace. This is how you show it, by leading by example. So these two are examples. What Sherry said, and like the company that I work for, are examples. The leaders are examples of how you want to work with, how you want to show diversity in the teams, diversity in technology, diversity in where you want to be. We create communities. For example, where I work, we create communities to keep upskilling developers around the world, for them to keep growing, and if they have to mentor them, to if they have career development that they want to know, for them to keep growing in their careers. Because all of these are problems that we have, issues that we all have in this new remote world. So this is today's world. If we want a better tomorrow, we have to know what are the problems of today. So we need to work on the problems that we have today, and then focus on that, and then work for them for tomorrow's solutions, I think.
Yeah. So Murillo asked, in your opinion, what would be the best way to interview in tech today, with your current knowledge? In my opinion, the perfect tech interview or tech position interview would be, and I wrote about this in my previous role as in the education space, is the first recruitment call, to filter the candidate to make sure they are who they are. But second of all, when it comes to technical interview, the hiring manager is interviewing you as a second interview to make sure you are the fit, as well as, and I'm not talking about, fit for the team or culture wise. I'm talking about fit for the role, in terms of your technology skill set, or and your professional attitude towards the specific technology and product and the company. The third interview should be the technical interview that makes sure you have what it takes to be part of the team. Now, I don't particularly agree with an a live coding situation where you actually put someone on a digital platform to answer questions that is irrelevant to the role. I rather take home projects that relates to the current product that the company is developing, and has something to, like, not sharing your code base, but sharing the idea of what the company is doing, and to see if the candidate has what it takes to solve a current problem or a past problem. And that will lead you to an actual technical panel interview that asks you, the reason why you choose a certain framework or a certain approach in terms of creating that solution, and how long did it take for you to come up with that solution, and what are some of the resources that you use to derive that. I think those are important things to know to assess a candidate's technical ability in terms of relevancy to the company. There's too many interviews out there that assess people on irrelevant things, which I don't even understand. Why does memorizing writing a for loop has anything to do with me solving a problem? Or understanding, yes, big O is very significant in computer science, but when is the last time you need to use big O knowledge to derive a problem, to a solution? What how relevant are these questions in terms of solving a current situation within the product? That is where I'm getting at. And last but not least, having that last interview with either the product manager or the CTO, to make sure, like, there is also a higher, broader outlook of where the product is going, where the company is going, in terms of for you to interview the company. So also know, like, and your interview process is not just for the employers to interview you, it's also you to interview the company.
I agree completely with what you just said, and I think that what Rajat also said in one of the comments is, if company doesn't give you clear answers, it's already a red flag. I think that for me, transparency is very important. Like, if you don't have transparency from the beginning, that is not only a red flag, but just like run from it, because you know that if you're not getting a real clear answer from the beginning, then you're just gonna stuck in there waiting for an answer that you're never gonna get, and then you better get out of it really fast. And those are one of the problems that, and I don't see it only in tech, I see it in many other industries. They don't have transparency in human resources. So I think that the interviews are a great way to understand the employer's expectations, yes, but it's a great way to understand the company's way of working. So it's a win-win or loss situation. As I mean, you can see it the best way you can see it. If from the beginning you don't see transparency, or you see that there is a red flag, or you feel comfortable the way you're doing it, like, okay, you may want to continue in the process, or you say, I don't feel comfortable here. So it might feel, I completely agree with everything that Sherry said, but I would like to just add that.
Yeah. And there are, like I mentioned, the process is improving. And if any company asks you for feedback in terms of giving them feedback on your experience of the interview, give them that feedback. it's an opportunity for them to grow and change, but you know, it's up to your discretion to give them that feedback. But if you see, like, if you want, like, if we want to see changes, we have to be very verbal about it, and that goes to any initiative, really. um Tech industry is still like growing and trying to improve themselves. So we need to put in an effort into like how to make the future interviewing process better for new talent, and how do we close the talent gap, or even you know, having lesser problem of finding more tech talent. That is like the next step that we want to go. All right. I think it's time again for prize draws. Don't you, Giuliana?
I think so as well. After this very serious conversation.
I know. After this very serious conversation, let's do another prize draw. Again, I am going to scroll up and down of the chat, and Giuliana is going to tell me when to stop. I love this. This is amazing. So tell me when.
When?
Ooh, 075 Duarte.
He's here because he just said virtual hug. So we're hugging you, 075 Duarte.
075 Duarte.
Yeah, he's here.
Let me copy the name so that I could call them out. I'm sorry, I don't know your name, but I'm going by.
I don't know if it's here, him or here.
Yeah, there we go.
Him or her.
They're here.
They're here.
Congratulations. Please contact organizers at TorontoJS.com to claim your prize. Again, you have the option to donate to an education program or selective online education course that you would like to participate in, as well as a Google Nest Mini.
Yes.
So, congratulations.
And where are you from?
Yes, 075 Duarte. Where are you from? Oh, it's okay if you don't want to disclose your location. That's completely okay. But make sure you Brazil. Make sure you identify yourself. Give us like, let us know your have a screenshot of your profile and send it to the organizers at TorontoJS.com so that we know you are who you are, and we can send you the prize of your choice. Should we do another one?
Yes, let in Toronto, please. And
yeah, let's do another one.
Do not be mad at Latam representation here, but
let's do another one. Tell me when.
When?
Or just like moved a little bit. KT. I've landed on KT. Just the username KT. Do we have a KT?
KT1,
KT1?
KT2.
KT twice? KT is not here. So I'm gonna go again. So tell me when to stop. Oh!
Yes!
We have KT. KT is here.
KT is here. KT
is here. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
you have won our next prize. Please contact organizers at TorontoJS.com.
Where are you from?
With all your contact info, and we would like to know where you're joining from. Let us, don't tell us it's Brazil. Oh, I feel like
I feel very ignorant to not know where this.
Yeah, I don't know where that is.
Me neither. Tokyo!
Oh, Tokyo! Wow!
Wow!
Oh, wow! Welcome! All the way from Tokyo. Wow, that's amazing.
That's amazing. Yes.
That's pretty cool. All right. So yes, please make sure you can identify your account and email to organizers at TorontoJS.com. We would love to connect with you and give you that amazing prize, like of your choice. Cool.
That was really exciting.
That was definitely exciting. Nice. So I want to talk a bit more. We were just talking about the current situation with the invisible ceilings for not only for women but also for many people that is in the space, and at the same time also for men with imposter syndrome and the difficulty of recruitment, tech recruitment in terms of diversity hire. I want to know more about your opinion in terms of Giuliana, your opinion in like where do you see in the future and how can we do better in terms of like downplaying, breaking this ceiling completely.
I think that, and we've talked about this a lot of times, Sherry, that because I don't know if you know, but Sherry and I have these conversations like normal conversations of life. But if we want to change the future, I think it starts about looking what it's not only now, what is happening now. It's we always talk about intersectionality. It's not only about gender, it's about how human rights connect. It's how what happened in the past shaped the way and paved the road to where we are now. And if we don't understand really how we get to where we are, how we got to where we are now in terms of human rights for everyone, really. And it's not only about, and when I'm talking about this is because I think that it's really important to understand this in terms of not only the workspace, but life, really. If we don't understand how we got here, and we understand the reality of the workforce, the tech industry, and life itself, society, how the society is working right now, how are we expecting to shape the future for not only ourselves but the next generations? So I really see that even if there are still a lot of things that need to change, and yes, there is the diversity higher that, yes, sometimes I do not like it because we should be higher based on our skills. It is a change, and we need to embrace it as well, because there wasn't that before. At least there were not. I mean, there wasn't a diversity hire before, and that's something that we need at least to be open up about, because there are little. We are taking little steps that at least are happening, and if we keep working on these little steps, like the little steps that happened in the past that really were huge for us if we see it now. Like, I mean, if in 1972 the era didn't happen, I mean, women didn't work for the era, or the civil rights didn't happen. I mean, I'm talking about important things that now are paved the road for today's world, and the diversity higher. We might see it as little now, but for tomorrow's world will be bigger and amazing. And I think that one of the most important things that for me as a mom and for the future generations that we need to start looking at is education. I think we need to be more open about how the educational process. I think that it's not about, hey, let's teach young people more about technologies. Hey, let's teach young people that there are no there are no limits, and that they can do anything they want to do. That there is no female and male sports. Let's start with small things, okay? Because there are still these things today that some careers are for men, some careers are for women. Let's start focusing also on the future generations in education, and then let's start paving the road also for them, like we had a little bit for ourselves, and show them that there are still things that are possible to change and to do better. And we didn't have role models, or at least not a lot. So become the role models that we didn't have for them. Yes, there are, like, we have here TorontoJS. There are careers for men or for women. There aren't. We shouldn't stop. I mean, there are not anymore men or women.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing should be categorized anymore.
Yeah.
Everything should be for everyone, and that's just it. Period. And that's what we should start working on. And I see a future. I think that there's a little bright shining light at the end of the tunnel that we're working for. Like, yeah. I can see it, and there are companies that you can see are working for it, and yes. And I'm super proud that they are working for it, and communities like our communities that give us these safe spaces for us to talk about, and give people that feel free and safe and can talk about all of this. So yes, there is a future that I see that it's going for the better, but we have to give those spaces for the next generation as well, and for the newbies that are coming into to feel welcome.
Yes, I can only say yes. Yes. Yeah, like definitely pave the way for the future, and then be in a space where where we no longer have to, you know, deciding what is what, or being identified as what is what. So it's a great way, and we need to start now. Like we need to start now, or already starting, and yeah, make use of your local communities. If you're in Toronto, connect with TorontoJS. If you're and now, because we have the internet, it's very powerful. Connect with folks who are like-minded. Join communities that you find that resonates with you. And like I introduced how I met Giuliana yesterday, and again we know each other through Women Techmaker Ambassadors program, and that is how we connect with each other. Even though I am based in Calgary, she's based in Argentina. like Canada and Argentina, we're like quite far away from each other. I'm experiencing spring and she's experiencing what, fall?
Yes, which is my favorite. It's my favorite weather.
Yeah.
Uh,
So like
yes,
it's just pretty remarkable to know like you can connect with someone on the other side of the hemisphere to
yes.
to connect with one another and have the same perspective in terms of like moving forward with this industry.
And
Um,
also, I'm sorry, Sherry, but I really want to make this very important. But also make sure that if you don't find somebody that you think that, I mean, find your buddy, I mean, your mentor. You find somebody that can help you go through this. You know, there are moments there are in history where you see things are changing. I think that we're going through this right now. Go through this momentum and take somebody with you that might help you go through it, because embrace it. We're going through a change, and if you don't know somebody that can help you go through it, find it, because there are communities like this, and people next to you that you might not know that can help you go through this um, growth that you might want to be in. And also be the Jedi's of technology for the future, because society and the world needs better technologies that can help society. I mean, I don't know how to put it in better words, but we need better technologies for better world. And
yes.
yes, the more people you talk to, the more people you know. I mean, yes, the more people you talk to, the more you will know that you can help each other. Yes,
100%. That's
yes,
right. Snap to that.
yes.
And there are resources out there, joining communities, and Juliana and I are both I Am Remarkable workshop facilitator. Find an I Am Remarkable workshop near you in your time zone, that could help you empower yourself, find the confidence for self promotion, and seriously, we want to challenge the perceptions, towards how we see, our society and how we move forward in the industry, because there needs to be change to be made. Silence is no longer the solution, and we need to talk about it.
And yes, and don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to do so, because keeping inside of you will no longer help you.
Yes. Do we have more questions from the audience about today's topic? Are there anything that is, or maybe not about today's topic? Any other questions you may have for Juliana and I? Oh, Lavina have joined I'm Remarkable workshop, and yes, they and her experience. Oh, sorry, their experience is truly empowering. So definitely recommend. That's good. Question from Jose: do you have any?
Joseph,
Oh, sorry,
Joseph.
Joseph. Joseph, how do you have any tips to reduce imposter syndrome? If yes, can you tell us? Ooh, I
I
like.
think that and Rajat gave the best answer, and it's in the comments section. So Joseph, if you scroll up, you'll see his answer. But if you want to add something, share it to that comment.
I lost that particular comment. Can you repeat it, Juliana?
Rajat gave a comment about the imposter syndrome, which was in the comment section. That was amazing, and I would, if
There we go. Believing that you can do it. You have done great in the past. There is no reason you can't do it again. I love that. That's fantastic. Yes.
yes, I think that's a fantastic. I wouldn't add anything more than that.
Raja has a question for us. What got you both into tech? Giuliana, do you want to start?
I think I said it yesterday also. The way that companies didn't really apply I mean, they were going into more profit than purpose, and not really into what the user needed. So I already, when I knew I was an engineer, but then I went into data science because I really wanted to know what was behind the startup world, and the business, the business. And then I realized that if you really want to understand and get better, you need to understand it. I mean, the user and the data. So for me, there is no business, there is no profit if you don't understand what your user is and how you want to work for your user, but not in terms of the technology you're doing for that user. I mean, in terms of profit, but how you're going to really connect with your user. What are you giving your user? What is it that your company is doing for them? So I think that that is what really got me into tech, the interest behind the technology.
For me, is more in my own sense of curiosity, and the impact in terms of creating a solution to a problem. That is like my very high level idea. But knowing that the fact that technology has the power to automate things and make fun stuff. Earlier on in my career, I was very into IoT. I was very into like like fashion tech. So that is something that I was like, oh, I didn't know, like, technology could be in fashion. Like that's really cool. And like that sort of like improvement in terms of like what I know as a person is just it's mind blowing, and that's what kept me going in terms of like I want to know more. I want to know more. And even though now I don't do much of that innovative technology work, but that is still like that sense of like curiosity is still with me.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that curiosity also get me going, and the fact that uh, there is so much of like, how can I do this better than it exists now? Like, how can I improve this? How can I make this better uh, for I'm always very user centric. Like, how can I make this better for the people that is using it now? Like, and I think that for me, it always comes into, well, if you use technology, it always makes better. Like, for example, I remember when I was into college, and like having in Europe, we have like this, the euros are like huge, and you have like these big wallets, and it's like, how easier would it be if you can only use like one thing that carries everything around, like not like just instead of carrying out money and like your cards and just like one thing. And that's how I started. Like, what would make things easier for the user? And that just blew my mind.
Yeah. Today's topic about invisible, the invisible ceiling is not only for women, has been pretty cool, and it sort of made a giant like discovery into like how do we how do we get into more intentional recruitment, as well as how do we change the scene of improving who is in tech, and creating more product that serves everyone. And that is where we would like to see the future. Starting from what we do today is going to affect the future, as well as how we are taking what is being done before and carrying them through, to make sure we are creating a legendary history for the industry, but also improve for the better. That being said, thank you so much for being here today. We want to remind you that this is a 3-day event. Tomorrow, we are going to talk about web accessibility for all. And we're going to get into some of the really neat technology that is already in the space, and what are some of the effort that is already here. Again, this is a celebration of International Women's Day with TorontoJS, as well as Women Techmaker Ambassadors. And we are here to connect with y'all. If you scroll down to the description below, you will be able to see all the social media connection. We welcome all the loves and retweets and hashtag progress not perfection in the space, and keep these conversation going, because we want to hear you, and we hope to see you tomorrow. Make sure you register for tomorrow's session, and yeah, that's it for today. I'm sorry, no more draws.
I'm looking at. I'm sorry, I wasn't listening to you. I'm looking at the people asking for more.
There's requests for one more draw. I mean, Giuliana, should we do it?
Yes, let's go for it.
Oh,
one more
peer
draw.
pressure. Let's just do it. I am doing one. I'm scrolling. Tell me when.
When?
I'm sorry. I have. It's leaving on Lavina Metal.
Yeah.
Lavina Metal.
It's yes. She was one of Lavina
Metal. Nice. Congratulations. Congratulations, Lavina. Please contact organizers. Finally, organizers at TorontoJS.com with all your information and your price preference. Thank you all for being here today. We always have a blast with y'all. We hope to see you tomorrow as well. Please make sure you gave. I'm just gonna leave that information there for a minute so that Lavina can get it. But yeah, connect with us. Ask questions if you have any, and we will see you tomorrow.
Thank you for joining us. Bye.